Welcome back. It's Thursday night. I'm James Black, and I'm with
Barrington Miller.
This is the Aftermarket program, and did you know it's World Investor Week? And also Fraud Awareness Month. We've got a great guest right after the beat.
Do you know my name?
Well, welcome back. Thanks again for watching. I'm really excited about this week's show because we have a friend of ours who's decided to join us and educate us and hopefully you on a few things that, I should preface with the fact that a lot of our show is very macro based. And today we're going to talk about personal finance. And so we have none other than Liz Naumovski, Vice President, Marketing at Caldwell Securities. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And I can't believe I'm talking to my two favorite guys.
Wait, where are they?
They're right in front of me.
That's
Welcome
awesome.
to the show, Liz.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of the times on the show, we discuss broader themes, market themes, but we have mentioned in the past and discussed behavioral economics and ultimately the end consumer, the end person, the end investor, you who is likely watching this and has been presented with a lot of serious and challenging conditions likely in the past 8 months. And Liz is an expert in personal finance. She also is the host of Finance is Personal, which is a show on YouTube, which I'll link above. And Liz, maybe from your perspective, let's talk a bit about just the journey that a lot of investors have had to go through the last 8 months with the COVID pandemic and some of the advice that you're trying to give people as they're weathering this very uncertain and challenging time. And I know you have a lot of great talking points, but I wanted to start off with just about your show, what you're trying to discuss and get out there broadly as an educator in finance.
So first of all, I just want to preface that I am not going to talk about investing or investors. Typically, it is personal finance. And you're so correct when you talk about behavioral finance. I did a show on behavioral finance, and it's interesting how when you tell somebody to save $100 a month, they automatically say, no, I need that money. I need that money to survive. So last November, I started the $5 a day savings program where I asked everyone on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter to save $5 a day. $5 a day sounds okay. You give up a sandwich, you give up a coffee, a latte, whatever it is, but $5 a day sounds doable. But in the long term, you're actually saving about $150 a month and not just the 100. So if you look at the big picture in one entire year, you'll end up saving $1,825. And if you compound that and just say over 5 years, just saving $5 a day, you're at $9,130. And over 10 years, you're at $18,000. So when people say it's really difficult to save, just think of the simple $5 a day program. I also talk about needs versus wants. And right now, there's so many people that have been hurt very, very hard by COVID. A lot of people were living a wants life. So if they wanted a designer something, they'd go out and purchase it and put it on their credit card. And it would kind of give them a short-term high, but then a long-term panic because you've got to pay it off. So I've been talking about making frugality fashionable. It's okay to pare down your life and forget about YOLO and FOMO. YOLO, you only live once. FOMO, the fear of missing out. And Drake always sings about YOLO, right? So you only live once, so let's just do it.
You can afford YOLO.
He can afford that.
You can afford YOLO lifestyle, yeah.
But, if you look at us, we've got to, a lot of people have lost jobs. A lot of people have pared down their jobs. A lot of people still have to pay. We still have to pay property taxes, put food on our table and everything else. So I'm actually asking people to focus on living a needs versus a wants life. What do you need to survive? What do you need in order to pay your bills? Look at how much income you have coming into your bank account, into your home, and take a look at how much you're spending. Do you really need to spend that much? I was just on the Empire Club of Canada talking about this, and a lot of people have been stressed. We are all under so much stress right now because, work is different. We're all working from home or we're not working and we're trying to find a job. So you go home and we're all drinking a little bit more than we were. Some people are consuming a little bit more cannabis than they were. So we don't have to stop completely, but just maybe pare it down a little bit and save that $5 a day, right? And prepare yourself, because we need to have emergency funds.
Yeah.
And emergency funds doesn't mean going on a vacation somewhere and taking care of whatever needs you need. Emergency funds are preparing for the next pandemic, preparing for, do you need a new car or replacing a roof on at your home? So we all have to focus, and we have to refocus our lives to start saving more rather than spending.
Liz, why is it so difficult for people to talk about personal finance? Why is that such a taboo, risque discussion?
I think, as we were growing up, I come from an immigrant background, and I would have to say most of Canada does.
Mm-hmm.
But we were all told to be very private and very personal. We didn't want to talk about family finance. That was something that our parents just discussed amongst themselves. I talk about the fact that we tell our children to get good marks in school. We tell them to go to a really good school and, graduate top of the class and then get a good paying job. But nobody knows what to do with the salary that they receive and how to save for it. Then the biggest taboo, actually, Barrington, is couples speaking about money.
Mm-hmm.
Couples will talk about everything. You can name it. They will talk about everything, yet money is still taboo. And I think it's really important, especially if you are starting a brand new relationship. You want to make sure that you're both on the same path of savings, rather than one having accumulated a lot of debt and the other one wanting to save all the time. It's very important to talk about finance.
No, I totally agree. My children, when they were younger, I think we opened a bank account at one of the big banks, and we received a classic piggy bank. And the piggy bank was divided into 4 sections of spend, save, donate, and invest. And they were proportional as far as what you should put in. So if you have $1, 10% or 10 cents would go into invest, and 50 cents would go into save. And that was just a really, really good, simple tool, as opposed to just your classic piggy bank of throwing all the money in, and when you need it, you crack it open. And I think it's really, really important to have those discussions with children.
So nowadays, you can't really find piggy banks anywhere. So I know that a lot of parents are using jars, right? Mason jars. And then you put,
Sure.
Save, spend, whatever.
Absolutely.
But I was talking, I had Hasina Lookman on my show, and she teaches children financial literacy. And she brought up a really good point. She was talking about the fact that when your children learn how to count, they count to 10. You give them $10, and you go to the dollar store and say, what would you like to buy here with the $10? And they have to add up how much they can get or how much they can purchase for $10. And it actually shows them that you have to hand over the $10 and what are you getting for it? Because sometimes they'll look at it and say, I can only get one thing for $10, or I can get 12 things, right? So I think it's really important to teach them as soon as they are able to count.
Oh, I've corrupted my children already.
We went to Disneyland and we used Monopoly money.
Oh.
And each day they would get a certain amount. And over the course of a week, or I think we were there for a week, over the course of the week, they would see things. And if they really, really wanted something, and if the Monopoly allowance was $10 a day, and this thing cost $50, then they would have to wait 5 days and accumulate. Or, they can do what my daughter did, which was wait till the very end, loan some to her brother, charged interest, and then got something which was way more than we had given her.
Well, good for her for knowing about interest and
absolutely.
having to become an entrepreneur at such a young age.
Somebody has to pay the Vic. So,
what are your thoughts? This is something I just want to kind of throw out there. you know, the big theme that people have been talking about recently through COVID was get out of the city, move to the suburbs, mortgage rates are low. Let's just, you know, forget about tomorrow. Let's figure out where we are today and we'll get a home and a roof over our heads. You know, long-term debt be damned. We're just going to do it. Liz, is this safe? We're pushing people into safe investment territory by putting them in the suburbs with low-cost mortgages, or do you see this causing a ton of chaos down the road when you know, it comes due to refresh in 5 years and maybe rates are higher and stuff like that?
You know, it's funny. Toronto Life magazine on their cover of this month had a headline, "COVID made me do it." And a lot of people have made decisions on whatever their finances are due to COVID. I know one woman gave up her apartment and went to go live with a gentleman that she started dating on a farm. Somebody else ended up moving to a penthouse apartment, and some people gave up their, you know, downtown Toronto home and moved to Barrie. You know, everyone's got to live somewhere.
Yeah.
And you have to find a place to live that you will be happy at. It's your sanctuary. And it's something that you'll have to be able to afford. And there are a lot of companies right now that are closing their offices because working from home is comfortable for everyone involved. So why not make the leap? I mean, that, you know, we can't judge if somebody decides to move outside of the city and simplify their life, or if they want to move to the city and have it more complicated or busier or whatever. I think we you know, you end up moving or living in a place that you can afford, a place that works for your family and for yourself.
Yes. I think that's sage advice.
And you touched on a topic of COVID made me do it. I'm hearing some horror stories with the CERB checks and how they are being abused. What's your advice when you get that CERB check?
So it's interesting. Back in April, when everything was just shut down, the beginning of April, I was asked to do an hour chat for the United Macedonian Diaspora. And I was talking about CERB checks coming in, and I actually said, CERB is to help you pay your bills, put food on your table, and take care of your family. Yes. You know, don't go out and buy new designer shoes, purse, watch, or whatever it is. This is supposed to be your safety net.
Thank you.
And one of the viewers actually texted a friend of mine and said, "Oh my God, I just tuned in at the right time because I was going to go buy myself a new wardrobe." So, you know, you have to look at why we were receiving that check, and people also have to realize that they're fully taxed on it as well.
Yeah. The tax implications, you know, there's going to be a bit of a hangover there too. So that's rough. Yes. So, I mean, it's been a very trying 8 months. I don't personally see it ending anytime soon. I mean, I drive around my neighborhood. I don't even go downtown anymore. The retail closures, things like that. It's been very eye-opening to see the impact.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's really tough. All right, so knowing that we're all in this together, let's talk about something that you have a much better vantage point than we do on, which is what women have had to go through during COVID. You mentioned an event you spoke at very recently at the Empire Club, which is a institution in Toronto that raises awareness around a lot of issues, but one was about how women are being impacted during COVID. And maybe just touch on what you presented at this event, and maybe a little more about what that experience is for women that are having to navigate COVID from their own vantage point.
That's actually a really good question. And I had to sit and really think about what I was going to talk about and how women were impacted. And I came up with a few things, and I thought maybe I was going down the wrong path, but it ended up being right on because that talk was back in July and now people are talking about it. One of the things I had mentioned, I think there's four things. Number one, women's work needs to be valued more. Statistics Canada came out with a number back in October 2019, and they said for every dollar a man makes, a woman makes 87 cents. So if you look at the big picture, over 10 years, we've walked away from $130,000 that we need to pay bills, take care of our children, take care of our family, put food on the table.
Right.
Second problem is women are natural caregivers. So when something happens, they have a child, they stay at home. A parent is ill, the child is ill, they stay at home. So if you look at their work life, it's always disrupted. The other thing is, you look at childcare. One of my girlfriends who owns Beauty Babe Lounge, I get my eyelashes done there every once in a while. And she actually had to think about what to do. She was closed down until phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
She's a single mom of a 4-year-old. And she had to worry about taking care of her daughter. And she's an entrepreneur. And she didn't have any help. And there was no childcare for her. So how is she supposed to put food on her table when she's closed down to phase 3 and she's got to take care of a 4-year-old full time? That's the other one. But the other one that a lot of people don't talk about is that as women, we live longer than men. So we make less, we have a disrupted career, and we live longer. And one of the things that I said was, when my mom and dad came here in the early 60s, my mother went and she was a cleaning lady. So she had to work long hours. The subway system, I don't even know if it went wherever she had to go. So she was taking buses, had to carry me, had to carry diapers, long hours, not making a lot of money. And I said, the only difference from then and now is that she didn't have technology and she had to hand wash all the diapers.
No.
So if you need women to actually engage in an economic recovery, you need to help them.
How can we help? Roberto, go ahead. Ask your question first.
Yeah, no, this is a good segue as well into helping women and acknowledging you recently won a very, very distinctive award, and an award that you seem proud of for very good reason. Can you talk about that and the part that you're doing, which will lead into James's question of how can we?
Absolutely. I'm very proud. It's just been announced that I am one of the recipients, award winners for 2020, the Alumni of Distinction Award at Mohawk College. And along with the award, they give you a $500 scholarship or a bursary. And then they ask you parameters of whether you want it to be a scholarship, a bursary, where do you want it to go? So I decided, number one, to make it a bursary to help someone go to school if they can't afford to go. Number two, I suggested that it would go to a single mom who's enrolled at Mohawk College, because single moms have been hit hardest during COVID.
Yep.
And I would like that person to be enrolled in one of the STEM courses, which is science, technology, engineering, or math. We need more women in our industry in finance. We need more women in engineering. We need more women in all of those STEM industries. And so the scholarship was, the bursary was $500. I matched it so that 2 young women have the opportunity to put it towards their tuition this year at Mohawk. And then I've also decided to keep it going and have the bursary going every year under the Elizabeth Naumovski Alumni of Distinction bursary.
Wow, that's there's so many positive things that are from that, Liz. That's remarkable. Now, if somebody isn't enrolled in the STEM program, the money is going somewhere. Where and to whom?
There will be. They have so many. I had a long talk with the college, and they have so many STEM programs. There are STEM courses that they said it would be very easy to find someone. But they did say if there was a single mom that wasn't enrolled at that particular time, what happens next? And I said, then I'd like it to go to a young woman.
Okay. No, that's good. That's what you're doing. And to James's question, what can we do?
Well, everybody can help out. I mean, if you're an employer, you end up valuing the worth of a woman's work. I think the key is, though, women need to find affordable childcare, because a lot of them during COVID have been trying to figure out, do I stay at home and take care of my children, or do I work and have my child suffer? So I think that's one of the key issues there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've parented as much in my life as I have over the last 8 months, just because we've had to cover bases, right? And that whole just trade-off, just natural trade-off of having to, at home split the workload a little differently, just out of necessity, right? For everyone to be able to pursue their career and continue to contribute to their work. And, I'm all for it. So I guess my message to any guys out there watching, if you're, if you get the chance, and your wife's working, just pick up the ball a little bit. And thank God we don't have to change cloth diapers anymore. Maybe some people do, but it goes a long way. That's my own lived experience, I guess, on that front.
You know what? Kindness goes a long way. If we all help each other out and we all reach out to each other, protect each other, are there for each other, kindness goes a long way.
Oh, couldn't agree more.
Okay, well, we'll try to be kinder.
A kinder, gentler aftermarket.
That's right. Yeah. Just
Liz, anything else for you, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I mean, we want to make sure that we're covering all our bases, right? So again, we don't often on the program talk about some of the harder to look at aspects of what's been going on in the world. You mentioned about, so let me to recap just a little bit, talking about finances with your spouse, very difficult. I even cringe at you bringing that up, which means that it's a real issue, right?
Well, why? But wait a minute, why? You're in it together. You live in the same household. I mean, I'm not saying, commingle all of your funds together, but why wouldn't you be able to talk and say, hey, listen, I just spent $4,000 this month because I need to get my car fixed for $2,000 and the car insurance came in for $1,500 and I had to put food on the table. It's real.
I think you answered it earlier. If you spend your whole life being conditioned by parents, and I too had immigrant parents, and you spend your whole life being conditioned to keep it private. And even though you're with somebody in a relationship and building a life, then all of a sudden change. And until you learn how to do that, it doesn't matter if you're in a business relationship, if you're in a partnership, a social partnership or whatever, you still have to learn those skills. And those aren't the things that are taught. That's what I think.
Well, because it's not fun too, right? I mean, do you want to sit down with me and talk about, I've got all these bills coming and where am I going to find the money to pay these bills and debt or whatever? I mean, until
you go through that process, do you know what isn't fun? Is being awake at night, stressing out, worrying, say losing hair or your health or whatever. That's not fun.
Shout out to all the life partners that are coming to their other person in their life at 11 o'clock at night and bringing up finances.
But wait, can I also say, one of the reasons why a lot of people don't sleep at night is because they don't pay off their credit card bills. And, you really have to pay attention to paying off your credit card every single solitary month. Never pay just the minimum. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. You both know, last year I got married. And one of the bills that we had, the final bill we had left, went onto a credit card, and it was $11,000, which in the grand scheme of things, when you look at, a lot of people have more debt than $11,000, right? It's still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It is a lot of money. However, the credit card statement said, if I paid the minimum, which was $10 a month, it would take me almost 109 years to pay it off. That's what keeps people up at night.
Yeah, that's nuts. Well, I'm sure you paid it off within a solitary month. So, but
I don't do anything unless I can afford it. My father always taught me cash is king. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. So I've always lived my life that way where, you know, my mother always said, you save every penny. So I save as much as I can. So if I cannot afford it, I will not buy it. I will not go into debt for anything. And the other thing is, I want to talk about something that Warren Buffett always says. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So what is meant by that is, I'm going to use this example of purchasing a dress. Last year, I bought this gorgeous dress. The regular price was $1,300, which is a lot of money, but I got it on sale for $99. Now, the original price was $1,300. I got it for $99. So with HST, it was like $112. Does that value of the dress go down because I only paid $99? Or is it still the same $1,300 original price that the dress was worth? A lot of people will look at it and go, it's just a $99 dress. But you have to look at the big picture, and you have to appreciate how far you can take your dollar. So, you know, I always look at what Warren Buffett said, price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Isn't Warren Buffett the same person who won't buy a breakfast sandwich from McDonald's unless it's on sale or he had a good day in the market?
And why not? Why not?
He's, you know what, he's living a long, great life, and he's made a lot of money that he'll get to, you know, whether it's in this life or the next, he move into the hands of helping other people who need it. So credit to him and his frugality, because it's going to help a lot of people. Liz, you're helping a lot of people. You're doing a lot of great things with your education. Your messages are totally on point as far as the aftermarket show is concerned. Hopefully, if you're watching today and you want to comment or ask questions, we'll leave the comments open below. We definitely want you to subscribe and like. If you subscribe and you like, we'll continue to produce more great content with awesome guests like this. Liz can be found. Tell us where you can be found. Finances Personal on YouTube. Just search for it.
Financespersonal.ca.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, I'm at ENAUMOVSKI.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thanks again. Thank you so much for joining us on the Aftermarket Show, giving us some great insights into how to better look after our personal finances. Any final thoughts, Barrington?
No, you know what? Liz covered all the bases, and I know there will be listeners who are going to have a comfortable, uncomfortable conversation as soon as we're done with this.
Let's hope so. If one person or one couple have the comfortable, uncomfortable conversation, this was all worth it.
Liz is going to save my marriage. All right. Well, until that point, and until next time, we're going to talk about Macedonian culture and food. Until next time.
Yes, Liz. Please.
Thanks again for watching, Liz. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.